those 5 key trends, just to give a glimpse of where we are in terms of today a global situation that presents or is present before us, is that organizations these days are looking at their bottom lines more than ever, right? Given the situation that we are in, there is an economic recession that's on the horizon. I mean, one could argue that in India there's nothing like recession happening, but we believe that it's a linked economy. Any recession that happens, especially in the US, at some point or the other will hit us as well. And we continue to see the conflicts that are there in the global market. So it is all a recipe for a perfect storm that we are in today. What does that mean in terms of the tech landscape? We're seeing a lot of decline in terms of the VC tech funding. Again, we could argue on that in terms of how it impacts in various parts of the globe, but broadly that's what we're seeing. There's a lot of tech decoupling happening. US and China were already on that journey. Now it's also Russia coming into the fold. So globally, there's a lot of decoupling happening. There is a continued lack of access to people with data skills. That's always been in demand, and there always seems to be a dearth of skills that's available. And with the overall ecosystem in place, there are more complex regulations that we need to deal with. There are guidelines that keep coming up, keep changing, keep getting redefined, and that's how we have to operate in that world. And within all of these situations, the need of the hour is to be able to make decisions much more faster, much more accurately, and to be able to see things in real time. So with that said, let me talk about the top 5 trends that we see. Trend number 1 is that we're seeing the usage of AI move deeper into the data pipelines. So far, we've been talking about how we can model this AI around the end user dashboards and the analytics that people derive. But we are seeing this movement happen much, much deeper into the data pipeline as well. Now, given that the situation is that there is lack of skills or lack of enough people with data skills, the menial jobs around data transformation, around data preparation, all of those which can be automated are going to get automated. So this is one statistic that we've picked up from IDC, is that today in the organizations, less than 20% of the time is spent on analyzing the data, and more than 80% of it is spent on data preparation. So if you're able to save that data preparation time through automation, through AI, through ML, we can use those folks to spend more time on analyzing it, much better use of their time, much more insights for the organization, and thereby increasing productivity of the overall ecosystem. Trend number 2, invest. There we see that there is going to be more investment in derivative and synthetic data to prepare for unprecedented events. Now, talking about unprecedented events, we don't need to have any other example. We've already seen an unprecedented event happen, and no one was prepared for it. That could be one situation where you don't have enough data. The second situation could be that deriving data or getting data is very an expensive proposition. So let's say if you want to calibrate and understand a video, and you want to then predict based on the past videos that have already occurred in a similar environment, collecting data around videos might be an expensive experience. So what we've again seen is that there's research that suggests that models that are trained on synthetic data can prove to be more accurate than the actual data in itself. And sometimes collecting data or real data brings about data privacy issues, which can be avoided by cooking up data or deriving data. Trend 3, now this is something that the speaker before alluded to as well, that in the consumer world, we are very, very conversational in nature. We've got Alexa, we speak to Alexa and we get a response. But in the corporate world, we've been not yet comfortable with conversational language. But what we are seeing is that the natural language technology is going to evolve, and it will be good enough to rival humans. The global natural language processing market, it's going to grow from 26 billion in 2022 to more than 160 billion in 2029. That's a CAGR of 18%. And when so much of investment is going on there, then it might as well rival humans in terms of the conversational that we can have with machines, even in the corporate world, more than in the consumer world. Trend number 4. Now, this is something that I think we've all experienced, even in our personal lives, in our corporate lives, being able to mitigate supply chain disruption with real-time data. Real-time data is going to become something that is key for organizations to take real-time decisions. IDC predicts that by 2027, 60% of the data capture and movement tech spending will be about enabling real-time simulation, real-time optimization, and real-time recommendation capabilities. Now, that does not happen if you don't have a real-time ecosystem in place. And that's what we see more and more organizations moving towards. The last trend that I want to, or that we see, is that there will be a movement towards a unified architecture to realize the full potential of data. So it will typically start from having your system of records, your data warehouse, your data lake, your governance around that, the BI dashboards, and finally the ML, and then hitting back your system of records, all of that being a very synchronized, solidified, unified architecture. There are studies that an EY study that was there, where it said that 93% of the organizations that they surveyed suggested that they plan to continue to increase their budgets in the area of data and analytics. And that is not just towards what the end users are seeing, but creating an ecosystem, creating an architecture that is more unified, streamlined, and contributing to each other. So those are the 5 trends that our market research team came up with, going to become more and more meaningful in the upcoming years. Now I'll shift my talk to how or where Qlik is innovating towards. Before I go there, a lot of people know Qlik as an organization that is in the data visualization space. We are a 30-year-old organization, and to be known for data visualization is not a sin. I mean, we've been doing that. But since over the last 5-6 years, we've evolved as a company. In 2018, we acquired a company called Affinity, which helped acquire data from any system of records, move it into a data warehouse or a data lake in real time without affecting the performance of your source systems. The greatest critic of moving data in real time is that my source systems, my system of records are not meant to be queried on a regular basis because they are meant for transactional systems. So with this, we are moving towards our vision of what we call active intelligence. And that covers the end-to-end data journey of an enterprise. What do we mean by that? So we start with your raw data, and how do we free it from their system of records? Be it your ERPs, be it your CRMs, be it your HR systems. How do we enable that data to move in real time from those system of records to your data lake or warehouse in real time? So we've got a way to free it. But that is just one part of the journey. Once it moves to the lake or the warehouse where you're kind of collecting it all together, putting it all together, how do you automate, if let's say if you're in your data warehousing journey, can we automate that data warehouse? Usually a data warehouse is a very elongated project that typically exists in an organization. But can we automate that star schema? If I were to go a little technical, can we automate that creation of that star schema data warehousing model? So with this free it module within QlikSense or within Qlik, we've got the mechanism to be able to automate your data warehouse or create operational data stores or historical data stores within your data lakes in a very, very automated way. Now, once data is there in your data lake or it's there in your data warehouse, there is a sea of data that is there. How do you find that data? How do you make it easy for consumers? Those consumers could be business users. Those consumers could be data analysts. Those consumers could be your data scientists as well, right? How do you make it easy for those consumers to find that data? So we have something called Qlik Catalog, which enables consumers of data to be able to find meaningful data. So all they need to do, let's say if they're, for a very simple example, if they want to understand data around sales, they type in that sales, and any table that exists in your ecosystem which has flown into your lake or warehouse, and if there is sales-related data, it will highlight that. It will not only highlight that, but it will also talk about the quality of that data, because you don't want to be analyzing something based on data which is not even clean, not even governed, not even used within the organization. So it will talk about all of these things in terms of how frequently that data has been used, what is the degree of cleanliness of that data, so that you feel confident about using that data, whether it is getting used within the organization at all or not. So all of these things are then enabling that consumer of the data to find it within the vast sea of data that exists. Then once you've found that data, you would of course want to understand it. So understanding piece of it is more about being able to bring that data, whether it is one table, multiple tables, bringing it all together, and then analyzing it in a very, very user-friendly way, and being able to take decisions, or at least go towards that intent of taking decisions, right? So that's where our Qlik Sense comes in, and it allows for organizations to bring data from their myriad systems that are there, and be able to make it, in a very interactive way, bring insights from that data. But we don't want to end there. The insights from the data is maybe 3/4 of the journey that an organization has done. So what do you do out of that insights? You make it actionable. How? You either notify someone, alert someone, or you update it back to your system of records so that there is an actionable coming out of it. And that is what we are aspiring towards when we say that we are building an active intelligence platform. It starts right from your system of records, and we might just end up with updating your system of records at the end of this active intelligence journey. So to achieve this active intelligence journey, we've created our active intelligence platform. What you see on the left of your screen is the data services, which is essentially being able to bring data, move it to your lake warehouse, do any kind of transformation, automate your data warehouse, and then also go towards system of records if that's required, publishing it back. On the right, what you see is our analytical services. That's around the visualization and dashboard. Again, within the tech, we've brought in a lot of augmented analytics, meaning that the machine, given that we've brought in all the data, we have some intelligence around what data you've brought in, we will help the user in whichever part of that analytics journey that they are in. So if they are bringing in data and trying to put them together, we will make suggestions on how those data should be linked together. If they're trying to create the dashboards, we will again nudge the user that maybe for the data that you're trying to bring in, this is the best way to visualize it. Once that end user is trying to analyze that data, we will again nudge that user, saying that this could be the potential area of outlier that you might not have even thought about. So we are augmenting the journey of a business user in whichever part of the analytics journey that they are in with our cognitive engine. Then there is this embedded analytics. So a lot of our end users are already accessing a web portal for their regular business needs. Now, if you bring another layer to that in terms of saying that, okay, for your analytical needs, you need to go to a different URL, different platform, it creates that extra bit of resistance for them. Instead, what if we could provide it to their systems or within the systems which they access daily? So that's where our embedded analytics comes into play, that they don't have to hop on to, let's say, for example, salespeople, they don't have to go outside of Salesforce. If Salesforce is my CRM, I don't have to go outside Salesforce to see my analytics. I can see it within my Salesforce with Qlik dashboards embedded within that. And finally, the last part on the analytics services side is what you see as the alerting and actioning bit of it. So we can alert users basis thresholds of KPIs that they would have set for themselves. If they get breached either way, they get notified, and then they're able to act on it in a very proactive way. Now, there are a few bit of foundational services, which I will not go through, but the whole idea of presenting this active intelligence platform is that we want to cover the end-to-end data journey of an enterprise. And that is driven by the trends that we see in the market. From a deployment perspective, we can deploy, or it can be deployed as a SaaS, as a client managed. Some organizations feel comfortable of not having to manage the infrastructure. Some organizations need to manage their infrastructure and don't want their data to move out from their enterprise, primarily because of regulatory concerns or security concerns, whatever that might be. We are happy to be flexible with that organization. The key word here is flexible. We don't direct you to move to a cloud, any cloud. We will walk with you in your journey. That's our messaging. That's our flexibility that we provide. And so where do you think you should talk to us if you are in that journey of data transformation, which most of you seem to be on, and you have this challenge of moving data from SAP, from any of your transactional systems, to if you're in that data warehousing, data lake journey, please come and have a word with us. We are at the booth outside. We'll talk about what we've done with various enterprises. If you're deciding on a on a visualization platform that you'd want to change from an existing one, or you'd want to embark on a new one, please, it'll be great if we can strike a conversation, and we'll help you understand where we are. So that's about what I had in terms of talking about the 5 key trends that we see in the market for the upcoming years, and how we, within Qlik, are catering to those trends through our product innovation. Thank you so much.